Hey y'all, welcome back, and welcome if you are new. My name is Sam and welcome to my channel. I have some easy and delicious weeknight meal ideas for you this week, so let's just get right into the video. We are starting this week out with a vintage budget-friendly meal. It is absolutely delicious. So I was thumbing through my vintage cookbook, and this is one of the recipes that I come across, and I haven't had it in a while, so I figured I would go ahead and make it. I've got some chicken here that I've just cut in half. It's boneless and skinless, but you can use boneless skin on, and I just cut those in half. I've got some butter, some mustard, and some vinegar in here, some cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, and some breadcrumbs. Now I use fresh breadcrumbs. That's because I make a lot of bread and I just use the end pieces I just grind them up and put them in the freezer. But you can use regular store-bought, you can use Italian, whatever you have on hand is fine. It'll work just fine. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to mix up my butter, my mustard, and my vinegar, along with my pepper, salt and pepper, and just mix it up really well. And then I'm going to put it on my chicken, and then put that in a sheet pan. And then I'm going to add on my breadcrumbs, just sprinkle it on top, and then we will put this in the oven. So I will show you what it looks like when I get this all ready to go in the oven. Here is what it looks like before it goes in the oven. I just seasoned both sides of the chicken with some salt and pepper and put the mustard and butter mixture on top, kind of even it out as best as I could, and then just sprinkled the top with the breadcrumbs. And you don't have to do this, but I did. I just spritzed some oil spray on the top of the breadcrumbs, so that way the breadcrumbs get a little brown in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 375 until the chicken is completely cooked through and the top is nice and golden brown. Here is my plate. My house smells absolutely delicious. If you haven't tried Delmonico chicken, you're missing out. It's really, really good. Plus it's easy to make and budget friendly. I've just got it paired with some green beans. All I have in the green beans is just a little bit of butter and the buttery steakhouse seasoning by Kinder's. So yeah, that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Okay guys, so I'm sorry for the lighting. It is super early this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and get my beans on to cook in the crock pot. I've just got some pinto beans in here. I did soak them overnight, and I drained and rinsed them, and then I put them in the crock pot and filled it up with some water. I've got some adobo seasoning here, some nature seasoning, and some beef broth base, as well as some ham hocks. Now you can do whatever kind of meat that you like. I'm using ham hocks because I seen these at the store, so I just picked these up. Sometimes I use bacon. You can do leftover ham. Whatever you like will work. As far as seasonings go, you do what your family enjoys and that will work. So what I'm going to do is add in my seasonings and my ham hocks, and then I will show you what it looks like when I get it all mixed up. Okay, so I've got all of my seasonings in there and my ham hocks, and I just gave it a little stir. I'm going to pop the lid on and set this to low, and I am going to let this cook all day long. So I've got some stuff that I need to get done around the house today, so dinner's going to be cooking all day long. It's going to make the house smell absolutely delicious. When it gets closer time to this being done, I will make some fried potatoes and some cornbread to go along with it, and then I will meet you back here when it's all done. Okay, so here is my plate. I just have the beans here in the bowl. On the side I have some home-style fries and some cornbread. Now the recipes for the home fries and the cornbread is already up on my channel, so you can click the link in the description box below and it'll take you right to my website. if you are on a cell phone, you'll have to scroll down and find the menu bar. I don't know why it does that on cell phones. I've tried to fix it, but you just have to scroll down and click on the little menu button, and you can type in either beans or cornbread, and it will pull up all of the bean recipes or all of the cornbread recipes. And you can also look at the top of the bar on the website where the menu button is, and it'll pull down the menu, and then you can do an individual search of all of my recipes. But if you are on a laptop or desktop, the search bar is on the right hand side, and it's pretty much the same thing. So you can just type in the little menu what you're looking for, and it'll pull it right up, or you can do an individual search up at the top on the menu. But that's just a little plug there for my website. But anyways, this is what we're having for dinner tonight. I'm so excited, so I'm gonna go enjoy this, and I will see you guys in the next recipe. For dinner tonight, we're going to be making some chicken and noodles. It's a very easy recipe, very easy to put together. So here's everything you're going to need. I've got some egg noodles here. I've got about 1/4 pound. I've got 2 egg yolks, some flour, butter, seasoning of choice. I've got nature seasoning and some pepper, some chicken broth. You can do milk, cream, or half and half. And you're going to need 2 cups of cooked shredded chicken. I've got 2 cups of shredded chicken thighs, but you can do chicken breasts if that's what you have on hand. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to cook my noodles. I've got some water coming up to a boil on the stove, so I'm going to get that going. I'll get the noodles in the water and get that going. In the meantime, I'm going to make my gravy. So what I'm going to do is add the butter in the pan, let that melt up, add the gravy, make like a little roux, and then add my broth and my cream. Whisk that up until it's thick. Add my seasonings. When the gravy is done, I'm going to temper these egg yolks into the gravy. All that means is I'm going to ladle some of the hot gravy into the egg yolks while I'm whisking, so it doesn't curdle the eggs. And then I'm going to add that back to the gravy and whisk it until it's completely cooked through. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going, and then I'll meet you back here and we will get this in the casserole dish. Okay, so here's my setup. I've got a 9x13 casserole dish here, sprayed, ready to go. I've just got it sprayed with some olive oil. I've got my cooked and drained noodles here. I've got my chicken and my sauce / gravy mixture here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my noodles to the bottom of my baking dish, add my chicken to my gravy mixture here, mix that up, and then I'm going to pour that into my baking dish, put this in a 375-degree oven, and we're just going to bake that till it's nice and golden brown, about 20 to 25 minutes, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this before it goes in the oven. Now you can add some Parmesan cheese to this if you want to, but this is what it looks like before. Now I'm going to put it in the oven, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so I just pulled this out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. It's nice and golden brown. It was in the oven for about 22-ish minutes. So I'm going to let this sit and hang out. In the meantime, I've got some broccoli here that is coming up to boil on the stove. As soon as that gets done, we're going to plate everything up. Alright, here is my plate. I just have the chicken and noodles here and some broccoli. Only thing I put in the broccoli was about a tablespoon of butter and some buttery steakhouse seasoning and some salt. Mix that up a little bit, and that's the broccoli. So yeah, that's what we're having for dinner tonight. On the menu today we have pot roast. I'm going to be making a classic pot roast. This is a vintage recipe. The only thing I'm going to change is the seasoning and the vegetables. The only vegetable it calls for is an onion. However, I'm going to be adding some carrots and potatoes later on during the cooking process, about 2 hours before the roast is done. So I've got my crock pot here ready to go. I've got some flour and onion. Of course, I'm going to be adding some carrots and potatoes, like I said, later. So I haven't got those out yet. I've got some tomato sauce. Actually, this is crushed tomatoes. I didn't have any tomato juice like it called for, but we're going to be using crushed tomatoes. I've got some olive oil, some hot sauce, and of course my chuck roast here. For spices, this is what I've got out to use. The only thing it calls for is salt and pepper. However, this is my little setup here. I do have salt and pepper here. I've got some nature seasoning, thyme, some smoked paprika. You can do regular paprika if you use this combo, and some garlic powder and onion powder. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to a pan on the stove over medium heat, and I'm going to salt and pepper my chuck roast here, and then sprinkle it with the flour on both sides evenly. Kind of spread that around, make sure it's fully coated, and then I'm going to brown this up, and then we'll put this in the crock pot, and then I'll meet you back here. Alright, so I've got my chuck roast here in the crock pot, or the slow cooker. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my hot sauce to my tomatoes, and add that in here along with my onions and my seasonings. You can use whatever seasonings you want, however much you want, just season how you think you would like it. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I get it all combined in the slow cooker. Here is what it looks like when I get it all in the pan. I just added in my onions, the sauce with the hot sauce, and then my seasonings. So what I'm going to do now is put the lid on and cook this on low for about 7 to 9 hours. You want to cook it low and slow. However, if you don't have the time, you can cook it on high for about 5 to 6 hours, depending on how long it takes for your slow cooker to cook. And when it's all nice and tender and cooked through, you're pretty much good to go. So about an hour and a half before my pot roast is done, I'm going to come in and add some potatoes and carrots to this, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's all finished. Alright, here is my plate. I've just got some of the pot roast here with some of the gravy and the onions, carrots, and the potatoes, and some biscuits. So this is what's for dinner tonight. Okay guys, here is this week's meal plan. Now I'm not going to be filming a what's for dinner this week. I'm going to be filming a game day foods video for you guys, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that. And what we're going to be having for Monday is tacos. I'm going to be making some homemade tacos. My daughter has been craving tacos, so we're going to have that on Monday. Tuesday we're going to have crock pot hoisin sriracha chicken wings with some pasta. Wednesday I'm going to be filming that game day foods for you guys. And Thursday we're going to have a chicken tortilla soup. Not sure what we're going to have Friday. We'll just see when we get there. So yeah, that's what we're going to have for this coming week's meal plan. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.